on the pulpit is your free run. It's your only chance to make it clear. Just open the lockbox and come alive. 'Cause then you come exploding out. You now, when you breathe, shout, scream, let it out, let it out, let it out, let it out.
What's up, guys? It's Saturday, June 12th, 2021, and this is a new edition of FritzCast. I have this big new, brand new flag behind me. This thing is high quality, man. Look at this thing. Just take a moment. Take a moment to take that in. For the people listening at home on the audio, you're missing out on this. It's posted on the Facebook and on the Twitter. But my goodness, this is from Anley Flags, man. This is a 5x8 flag that I had made from this is the logo. This is the FritzCast logo. Hold on. You can snakehead up top. This is the FritzCast logo, and I love this as a backdrop, man. Look at this is impressive. This is I love this. I love this. This is a high quality print too, man. Look at it. It's beautiful. Beautiful, huge flag that I was thinking in ways that I could vamp up and fancify the podcast, like what's something I can do? And when I moved to my new house here and had this new office set up, a lot of people liked the old backgrounds, even though it was literally just a jumbled mess of stuff. I had like 3 different historical American flags hanging behind me. I had a stand of Funko Pops that were all Star Wars Funko Pops. I had shit because everything was stuffed into that room. It wasn't like a dedicated office at my old house. Whereas here, this is like legit just my office space. And so I was sitting and I was thinking, like, what can I do? I just have this gray wall as the background right now. I guess people don't care, but I cared. I cared rewatching the videos and all that. I was like, come on, what can I do to spice this up, jazz this up, make this more me? And now it's totally me. Look, my name is huge behind my head. That is, it's stupid. It's stupid and it's silly, but it's awesome. It's awesome. Anley Flags, they're not a sponsor of the show. This is just me hyping the product. This is a nice, look at this quality print, okay? Because I have to give a shout out to, give me one moment here because the name is slipping me. William Hurst on Twitter, William_J_Hurst made this logo for me. And he did a beautiful job with it. I've loved this logo since he gave it to me to use, and I've rolled with it. And now it is now on a banner behind me, the banner of FritzCast, because I'm beholden to nobody except this. This is me. This is my show. This is my perspective. This is my beliefs. It's not going to be 100% one thing or the other with me. It's just me, and it's loud, and it's boisterous, and it's complete opposite of who I am as a person. So, but it's great. It's great. So if you're ever looking for like custom designs, Anley Flags, ANLEY Flags, took them. It was a little bit of a turnaround. I think it was like maybe 3 weeks before I got it, but whew. And You might be thinking like, that's a flag. Did that cost a lot to screen print? It's double-sided. Mind you, I can flip this backwards, and it's the same thing on the back, so it's double-sided. It's a nice, thick nylon style, so I could fly it outside if I wanted to, for real. I don't have that kind of a flagpole, but I might now. I might be getting one. But I could order. You can order different sizes too. You can order a standard 3x5 flag, which, seeing how this has turned out, I'm very, very tempted to order a couple of them to take them to events if I ever go to events and want to set up. If I set up a table or something, this thing's coming. I can tell you right now, because I can see signatures. I can see meeting people I've interviewed. Hey, sign the flag, or hey, people that I really respect. Hey, sign the flag. And it could be a signed backdrop for me, right? I can dream, okay? So, shut up. Stop pooping on my dream. I've told you guys this before, and that's messed up to poop on somebody's dream. So, how's everybody doing? It's been, I didn't do an episode last week. Why didn't I do an episode last week? Well, let me tell you, I'm going to go to this, little, this little scene, in the background that I want you to check out. I'm looking at my audio mix right now. I'm hoping that it's not too over the top. Shoot, drop it a little bit. Give me 1 second. Of course, I have to take the time. Could have had this prep beforehand, but I didn't. So, this is what I get. Perfect. We're good. So last week, I didn't do a podcast, and there's a reason why. I want to transition over to this, okay? Look at this. Liberty Speaks. I got this from Chris Velrath. Very excellent job with these, Chris. Look at these. That was Spike Cohen. That's Angela McCardle, the wonderful, lovely Angela McCardle right there. Let's see. Michael Heiss, founder of the Mises Caucus. Awesome. Who else do we got? Oh, Liberty Speaks. That's the logo. That's the awesome logo of the event. And there should be one more picture dropping. There he is, Maj Touré from Black Guns Matter. Wow. So there was an event that we had last Friday called Liberty Speaks here in Delaware. The people that you just saw were some of the highlight speakers of that event. There was others. Anthony Samaroff was there. Great to meet him personally, hear him speak as well. Great to meet all these people. I got to meet Angela McCardle, got to meet Michael Heiss, got to meet Maj Touré, and we had this great speaking event. And we were plotting. I was thinking about podcasting from the event. We weren't too sure if we were going to have the setup. And then, oh yeah, big brain dummy head here. Totally forgot that I don't have any travel equipment for a podcast. I didn't have anything that I could bring with me to set up. And then at the end of the day on that too, I was like, do I want to be there in a capacity of I'm going to podcast during this thing, or do I want to be there and enjoy it? And I opted for, okay, I don't have the equipment. We're not really sure if I can get set up with all the other stuff that we're doing. So let me just go. Let me just go and experience this event. Never been to an event like this. Let me go and take it in. And I also got to meet Brian Nichols there. Brian Nichols of the Brian Nichols Show, who was excited to meet me for some reason, because you have issues, Brian. You have lots of issues. But it was great to meet Brian Nichols, who I thought was 6'7". He's only 6'4", so he's only a hair taller than me. And he was surprised because apparently, I don't know, maybe because of this much space above my head or something, I look short to you guys. I'm 6'2". All right, I'm 6'2". I'm 250 pounds. I'm not exactly what you'd call small. Okay, no, that's not what I am. But we were at this Liberty Speaks event, and it was an amazing event to be to. Amazing to hear from these speakers. Amazing to hear these ideas of liberty, and just to interact with other fellow liberty-minded folks and individuals. Seeing all these booths set up, these products, good food, a good beer. Not so sure about the wine. It was at a winery, by the way, but that's not to disparage the winery. I'm just more of a beer guy. So, If it's not Apothic Inferno or some other kind of dark, fruity wine that I know, that I know and love, then it's not a wine that I indulge in. So there's that. So there's that sense of speaking. But following Liberty Speaks, that was Friday. Saturday was the Libertarian Party of Delaware convention. And yours truly ended up at this little center of controversy at the event, if you will. I had never been to a Libertarian convention. I've been registered with the Libertarian Party since 2016. I voted for Libertarians since 2016 and beyond. But I had shied away until recently attending local events and all that, just because I hate, in my mind it was, I don't really, I'm not sure I really like this state, and yada, yada, yada. And there was also some questions about, given my profession and all that, how involved should I get in politics? And, for a while I stayed away from it. Okay, fair enough. You can get me on that. You can get me on not being an active participant on the local level, but a supporter nonetheless, and a registered voter nonetheless. However, I was registered in a county up north. There's 3 counties in Delaware. I was registered in the northernmost county, where I've lived and dwelled for most of my existence. Pretty much all of my existence. I don't know why I said most. All of my existence, I was up in the northern county of Delaware. As you guys know, I went on a huge hiatus for about 2 whole months after my Joshua Smith interview. And you didn't hear a peep out of me. You didn't hear a peep out of me because I was in the process of selling a house, buying a house, and moving all my shit from that house to this house, literally just with my wife and I and a 1.5-year-old, which, if you want to test your fortitude or just your capacity to remain mentally sane, do that. But otherwise, I do not recommend it. So that was at the end of April and the beginning of May. That's what happened. So now it's June. It's been a month. We still have, the coronavirus stuff is only just starting to ease. Okay, I'm painting a picture for you, by the way, here. Since moving, yours truly hasn't been able to update his license. His driver's license isn't updated. Oh my God. It doesn't expire until like 2025 or whatever, or 2026 or some bullshit. It doesn't expire for quite some time. And I think when people, especially right after they execute a move, the first priority isn't to change their driver's license. There's people I know who don't change their driver's license until it's expired and ready to go, because why should I drop extra money just to change my address or some bull crap? Okay, so there's that angle to go by. Obviously, my registration was in the northern county, under the Department of Elections. Fair. And so therefore, when I was credentialed in the convention, which is, if you don't know what that is, that's the process where before the convention even starts, you go up to the table, they verify who you are and check you off, and then they give you maybe sheets of paper for the state votes that are going to be happening, because it has to be by secret ballot. At least it does here in Delaware. I don't know about other states. I can't attest for other states, and I'm not going to attest for other states. So not going to do that. So I was credentialed for the northern county, despite the fact that my address is now in the middle county. And so I'm sitting here wondering, should I go long story? Should I go short story? Let's go middle ground. Let's go middle ground here. I was eligible to vote in all the state level stuff. I voted for the state chair, vice chair, treasurer, secretary, all that. We also heard from potential candidates who want to run for office. They open up the floor. Anybody out there want to run for anything? People stand up. Yeah, I'll run for Senate District 7 or whatever. and we all go, we give them the opportunity to speak, to hear their platform or whatever, and then we all get a chance to affirm that, yes, we want to vote for them. No, we don't support them. First dose of controversy in there was this gentleman stood up in front of the crowd, and he started speaking what he wanted to run for, and it was he wasn't quite organized, but I give him kudos for standing up in front of the group and wanting to talk about his passion and his willingness to run. And he starts talking about some policies and stuff, and then he gets into universal health care, which is not something you really hear at a libertarian thing. And you don't hear somebody talking about taxes, be they voluntary taxes or what have you. It's not the typical thing that you hear at a libertarian thing. Now, when it came to his vote, by a handful of votes, I forget how many at this point. I'm not going to pull up anything to try to backtrack and get the official numbers or whatever. At the end of the day, we voted not to support him, and a county chair that was overseeing the meeting kind of disparaged over half of us by saying that we weren't welcoming to this individual when we said nothing about the individual being here or participating in the event, just that he went up there and he said something pretty antithetical to libertarianism, and why would you put that at the top? If why would you can't just support anybody that's running. You can't, just because they're going to put an L by their name, which more and more often I'm starting to realize why it stands for loser. But you can't just go with any libertarian. That's a very Nick Sarwark mindset of advance the party at any means necessary. No, don't advance the party at any means necessary. You can't do that, because then you lose your standing as the principled party. So that was the first dose of controversy, if you will. It was a little more, from my understanding, since I hadn't been to previous conventions, I can't really speak, but from my understanding, the convention was a little more contentious than in previous years. Can't attest to that. I'm not going to attest to that. What I will attest to is that what should be my new county chair, blocked me from voting. Because my license hadn't been updated, my voter registration hadn't been updated, and despite the fact that I could go on to the county's official parcel search website, pull up the property in which I own, which lists me as the owner in there with the property address in the county, despite the fact that I could muster that up, he put it up to a vote of the body. The body said no. Whatever. I walk away. This pisses off all my friends, because in their minds, you're denying him his right to vote. This pisses off people like Angela McCardle and Michael Heiss, who were there, who were fighting for me. This was, to me, I was like, really? Is this that big of a thing? But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, I was kind of blocked, And the event was dragging on. The event was slated from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. rolls around. I only have one car. I had my wife drop me off at this event. She comes rolling back. And we had engagements set up for family that evening anyway. So I'm like, I gotta bounce. I can't be here for any more of this. This looks like it's going to be dragging on a little bit longer than anticipated, and I've got engagements. I thought it was going to be wrapped up by now. So I leave, and Michael Heiss calls my phone and is like, dude, if you can't get back here, log on the state Discord and get on here, because we're fighting this. We are having a heated discussion on this at the convention right now. Log in to the Discord, because we're out here and we're fighting for you. Holy crap. If people want to shit on the Mises Caucus for whatever reason, I think the only reason that people can find and muster against the Mises Caucus is because it's bringing in more people. They are more organized. They are more goal-oriented and focused. And, oh, yeah, they fought for me. They fought for me when I was like, well, fuck it. Like, how are you going to feel if at a convention you got to vote at every state level thing and then you go break off into your counties and this is your new county and your welcome is, that parcel search you pulled up is just a mailing address, which is a really bizarre. I should have fought harder on that because what is an address on a license but a mailing address? It put me as the freaking owner of the property. It said property owner. Whatever. I don't get disparaged because when you slam that at me, you just kind of strengthen my resolve to keep moving on and moving forward and being an active, involved player, because this is my backyard now. This is where I live. Ever since I moved out of the northern county of this state, which I believe sucks, I've been enjoying life in the middle county. And from what I understand, the really slower lowers down in Sussex County, they're a whole different breed. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not even going to touch that. But ever since I moved down, I've been enjoying life. I enjoy the neighborhood that I live in. I enjoy interacting with most of my neighbors down here. I enjoy the businesses down here that I've been able to help, which are family businesses. I've enjoyed giving them my business. I want to be involved. I want to make sure that I'm following and pushing for changes that I want to see. And a lot of times in leadership, you got to be the change that you want to see. And maybe in the sense of this county in Delaware, maybe I need to push to be the change that I want to see. Because so far, started off on a little rocky ground there. You know what really gets me about it, though, is that the county chair, and some people are probably going to be like, why isn't this guy naming names? You can find out if you want. It's on the internet. And I'm going to show you an article that rather irks me from my own Libertarian Party county chair here because look at this. Look at this. The Mandalorians become legitimate U.S. political party, which, I'm not going to go into any, copyright bullcrap. I'm sure if Disney catches wind of this, it'll be an issue. But whatever. I don't really care about that. What I care about is this right here, where the Mandalorians has now inspired a new political party known as, you guessed it, the Mandalorians. The Mandalorians of Delaware, the first state's newest political group, seeks to, quote, educate individuals about campaigns and key issues. Formed at the start of the year by Will McVeigh of Dover, who has been active in the Libertarian Party of Delaware for years, the organization was just recognized this week by the Department of Elections as a party that one can join. So, my county party chair has time to push and create what he himself has stated is a joke of a political party in the Mandalorians. He's now registered as a Mandalorian in Delaware. He has time and energy for that over whatever the Libertarian Party is supposed to be doing. And if I hear this bull crap of I'm balancing both or I'm trying to make a point or whatever, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that you had the time to go through all the steps to make a political party and put out press releases for that political party using catchphrases and phrasings and things from the Mandalorian television series. But what are you doing for the Libertarian Party county now? I don't, maybe you do. Maybe you do, but when you spend all that time and energy on what is a joke, I have issues taking you seriously And that's not even going into some of the conduct that I saw during the convention, which just questionable all around. So at the end of the day, my presence ruffled some feathers and made this thing even more contentious than it was going to be, apparently, because I also have friends of the Mises Caucus, and I'm more not a Nick Sarwarkian type of libertarian. I'm more of a Ron Paul libertarian, and I'm kind of a freaking independent as it is, but that is what it is. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes. I'm willing to go forward with an open mind and put my best foot forward and try to do what I think is the right thing. So there's that. But that's why I didn't have a podcast last week. It's why I don't have any guests this week. I do Angela McArdle, speaking of having the opportunity to meet Angela McArdle, by the way, which was an awesome moment for me. It was an awesome moment to meet her, meet Spike Cohen, who I've now interviewed twice and now met, and I also have an autographed photograph of Spike Cohen as well, because I grabbed a Spike Cohen goodie bag, which that's what that is. You Are the Power. The band, not the tattoo. The tattoo is very much God of War and nerdy, but that's beside the point. That's beside the point. It was a great event. It was a great time. Great time was had by all. So one of the other notes that I wanted to bring up today is, look at this. Look at this. 8 years ago, Edward Snowden sacrificed his own future to reveal egregious and unconstitutional surveillance abuses by the U.S. government. Federal courts have affirmed several times over now that the NSA and the FBI practices he exposed were illegal. It's past time to pardon Snowden and welcome him home. This is an interesting thing. Edward Snowden's an interesting character because you can kind of gauge how somebody thinks politically just by asking them what they think and feel about Edward Snowden. Because there's still a lot of people when I talk about that who go, I don't know, he's kind of, he kind of revealed information at a bad time, yada, yada, yada. And I know those people and I know where they lie politically. And then I ask this other group of people, hey, Edward Snowden, what do you think? Well, he should be pardoned. He revealed all these abuses of government, and the fact that he's still in this, what's the word I'm looking for? Sanctuary, away from the country. I'm blanking on the freaking word. But the fact that he hasn't been pardoned is an issue. And I believe it's an issue because all Edward Snowden did was tell the truth. That's all he did. See, when you tell the truth against the government abuses of things like the Constitution and you become the criminal suddenly, that's just proof of, well, it's admission of guilt in my eyes from the government, and the government can't have that. The government can't allow somebody to say that they're guilty of something like violating, your Fourth Amendment rights, be it through data collection or monitoring or what have you. Because that just solidifies the fact that your constitutional rights are, rights that block the government from doing things, and this is why when we talk about, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is lately, but I've become a little bit more of a Lysander Spooner kind of dude. Years ago, when I first started taking my steps into libertarianism back around 2012 or so, and I started getting my feet wet with it, as I was diving in, people were dropping Lysander Spooner my way. And I would read it, and I would read his little comments about the Constitution and how it has no power, or it's either a document that bestows all this power and it's abused, or it doesn't bestow any power at all because it's a worthless piece of paper. And I used to always go, those guys are, I guess the semi-anarchists or whatever, maybe the ANCAPs. For those of you that have no idea what I'm saying, I'm not going to have time to bust into that. Just Google ANCAP. And Wikipedia and articles will take you down the rabbit hole of ANCAP and ANCAPistan. You can do that. Originally, when people would drop that at me, I would just kind of laugh. I'd go, that's funny. Yeah, anarchy. Funny. That's how I would be. Because I would be like, well, you have to have the Constitution. It has to be based constitutionally. And then I started kicking my own brain's ass on this. Because I would sit and think how I personally believe. What do I personally believe? I personally believe in the Declaration of Independence, and that line in the Declaration of Independence. I've probably said it on this show a million times, but we're going to say it again. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I say that line a lot, and then I usually follow up with the other line, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, yada, yada, yada. When government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter and or abolish their government. Boom. I miss some words in between there. My memorization skills are not what they used to be back in Mormon seminary during high school, when I could recite very, very large phrases from the Book of Mormon and the Bible and other things. So that's what I believe in. And I believe, in one of my episodes not too long ago, I described myself as not a constitutionalist, but a declarationist, because at times we have had things in the Constitution that have been wrong. That's the breaks. That's American history. We've been wrong before. We've been wrong. And that sparks in my mind how the Constitution was originally drafted, which is something that I'm researching now. I'm starting to read the Federalist Papers, the Anti-Federalist Papers, a book called The Great Rehearsal, which is about the drafting of the Constitution, as well as just scooping up any other little thing I can find about the time that the Constitution was made. Because most people don't know that when they made the Constitution, the first, I forget how many amendments, I'm blanking on this, sue me, but the first set of amendments were called the Bill of Rights, and it was actually, they were called the Bill of Rights, and they were not part of the Constitution proper. So like your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, to I forget what number, amendments were really, truly untouchable. They were like, this is definitely what the government can't screw with. Definitely solidified, and they did that as a compromise. Because a lot of people were wary of going the route of making a constitution for this purpose. They made the Bill of Rights outside of the Constitution proper to quell this thought that the government was bestowing rights upon people, but rather they were crafting a document that restricted the government. And fast forward, here we are 2021, and we know that that thing has been whipped, beaten, pissed on, ripped apart, and in some cases burned. You know it. You know it. I know it. We all know the system is screwed up. We all just have different ideas on how to fix that. For some people, it's to make the government massive. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's crazy. It's nuts. Some people are full-blown anarchy. Now, when I say that, I don't like... When I say full-blown anarchy, there's a bunch of people out there who are like, yeah, fire in the streets and riots and all that crap. Yeah, it's not what I'm talking about. The word anarchy is actually demonized because there's this whole wave of anarchists that I know who, when you start asking them about stuff, they start talking about, no, you have personal property, and they start talking about things like the non-aggression principle of libertarianism, and I'm like, oh, that's weird, because I think Anarchy in the UK, I think that song, I just think, play the guitars really loud, kick over everything, set trash cans on fire, and that's the image that gets conjured up. But apparently, these guys are actually kind of pretty based. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? So when I say that, I just mean like when somebody shares Lysander Spooner now talking about that. And let me see if I can find the damn quote. I have to find the damn quote now. So here it is. Quote, "But whether the Constitution really be one thing or another, this much is certain, that it has either authorized such a government as we have had, or has been powerless to prevent it. In either case, it is unfit to exist." I might not be waving a ANCAP banner, or, people might want to make fun of me because I'm still probably far more a minarchist. Yeah, I'm probably still far more a reduce the federal government down to these three core things. Everything else is kind of up to the states and the people of the states. That may be where I'm at, and people might want to poke fun and make fun of that. But when you share that Lysander Spooner quote to me now, instead of laughing, I go, I get it. Because guess what? I get it. Because why? Because people still become criminals simply for telling the truth, simply for revealing that the government is being abusive. That's it. That's all it takes for you to become a criminal, is for the government to say, no, you can't rat on us. Like, yeah, sure, we're circumventing the Constitution. It's a pesky thing. I've heard elected officials talk about how the Constitution is a pesky thing, how the Fourth Amendment is a pesky thing. Well, hell, you have whole organizations attacking the Second Amendment as a pesky, outdated, misunderstood thing. And you have college campuses that don't even allow First Amendment. But different argument for a different day, right? Different argument for a different day. So that's been my week in a nutshell, and where my mind's been these past 2 weeks. It's been, how do I get more active and involved in politics on my home front, which I'm starting to. You have to take a step somewhere. Should I have been more active before now? Yes. Should I have been a smart boy and gotten my license updated? Probably. It's a mishap on my end. But you know what? On the other hand, moving during COVID time, still working your full-time job, and then raising a 1.5-year-old, trying to keep your family life up, and then attending a 5-hour convention that wasn't even held in the 5-hour span it was supposed to be held. It's a start, right? Now I'm going to start going to county meetings, right? I'm going to start voting on things, and I'm going to start paying attention to what's going on the local front. Hook up with my local representatives and start talking with them, because I have a whole new slew of representatives. I went from supporting Anthony Del Colo up north, having him get voted out, I think unfairly, because of the Donald Trump stuff, that aura that's on the Republican Party, but they brought it upon themselves, so it's kind of their fault. But beside that, I went from having Anthony Del Colo as a great state Senate representative to having one that sucks elected in District 7 in Spiros Montsevitos, who's just uncommunicative, unopen, and pushing his agenda. Screw everything else. But he's not my rep anymore. I'm now not in that county anymore, and now I have a rep who I don't know. I honestly don't know who that rep is off the top of my head right now. I know exactly who it was like last week because I looked it up, but I'm gonna have to look it up again, send my emails, start my communication chains with these people, and I'm getting acclimated. That's what happens when you move. You're not truly settled in and settled down for months on end until you really get into that, groove and get settled and figure things out. So while I'm haphazard, while I went to a state convention and probably pissed off some people, which I don't really care about. I don't care about pissing off people. I should say that. I'm looking forward to what I can do and what's going to happen and being more involved. And on that note, on the home front, things are going a little disheveled. We had a little pipe issue in the bathroom upstairs, but thanks to insurance and help, it's getting smoothed out now. So it'll be a little less hectic when that is finally done. And then by the end of this month, we're going to have a chicken coop, fencing, and baby chicken. We're doing chickens. We're doing chicken. Homesteading. Loving homesteading because, over this next day or so, I'm going to have to get on the riding mower and cut the grass. And I've never been excited about cutting grass before, but now I am. I'm like, I get to go out on my big riding mower and cut the grass. Give me a beer. Give me a beer. No, not give me a beer. I'm operating machinery. That'd be irresponsible. So the beer comes after the grass cutting. You adults. It comes after the grass cutting. So I've got things like that. I just bought this big 5-gallon tub, which I might do a little sidebar video on this on my cell phone or something, not some high production thing. So get excited. But I bought this thing from Cabot called Deck Correct, which has some micro beads in it, and when you paint your deck with it, it fills in cracks and splinters and gaps and stuff. And the deck of this house isn't in the best of shape, and I don't know if you knew this, but prices for materials have skyrocketed. They're insane. Paint is about to go up in August, by the way, if you didn't know that. I read it. It's on the internet. Check it out. The paint is about to go up. Paint's about to go up. Lumber's up 50 freaking % or more right now. So trying to replace the boards is a no. So I got this Deck Correct thing, which could make it last another 2 or 3 years before I really have to consider replacing the deck, and hopefully by then maybe things have stabilized. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But guys, I've rambled. I've been going on about all this. I gave you the recaps. I gave you everything, and now my voice is getting hoarse because some of it has been enraging. And also, I'm out of water. It's good water, though. This is from my softened water system. Because I am on well water, so I need a water softening system because the water down here is hard, okay? Cut me some slack. So I'm going to get more water when I'm done this ranting and rambling. But guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like the show, do me a favor, give it a like, leave a comment, and pass it on to a friend. Share it with a friend, a buddy, a pal, anybody, an amigo, an hombre, anybody. Share it with the people that you hate. I don't care. Do that. Share it. And then you can follow me on Twitter at FritzQS, Facebook.com/TheFritzCast. And if you need to reach me, it's FritzCastPodcast@gmail.com, which a lot of people have been using as of late. So do it. Drop it. Reach out to me. Connect. I'm on Discord. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm adding a bunch of stuff to the repertoire. Looking at changing the theme song, maybe. I love my Jerrytown theme song, but it's just getting to that time. I think I've been using it for about 3 years now, and I think maybe it's time for a revamp. If you guys flood me with hate mail because of that, then it'll just stay where it's at right now, because I don't have to worry about taking it off, per se. So we'll see about that. But remember, I love you guys. Keep it on the level. Have a good week. I'll tune in, or I'll check in with y'all next week. Might even have a guest next week. That's up in the air. It's not a guarantee, but we'll see. We'll see what's up. But until then, I'm Fritz. This is FritzCast. I love that I can just point behind me to the big flag. Back, we've gone full circle now. We're back to the flag. Look. I could just end on that note. I could, but no. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.